People from Seesii contacted me and kindly offered to send their latest version of the 8-inch battery operated chainsaw for review, so here it is. Just as a disclaimer, this has been sent completely free of charge with no money exchange, and I'm not being paid to promote it. It is just my opinion of how the tool performs. So let's open the box. As you can see, it's a nice blow moulded plastic case. Tip it round. So opening the box, take a look inside. As you can see, there's plenty of individual items. I'll take each one out of their packaging and have a look in more detail. First of all, let's take a look at the batteries. Now this is where the difference is with this model. The batteries have been increased. These are now 2 batteries, each 4 amp hour, supplying 21 volts. The quoted time is 60 to 80 minutes run on a full charge, and these are driving an 800 watt brushless motor. The complete package comes with full CE certification. Moving on to the charger, this plugs directly into each individual batteries on the 230 volt supply, and I'll be showing that in more detail as we set the saw up. Surprised to see that they've included a spare chain bar, and that'll be welcome. And moving down to the next item, there's also a spare chain. Both the chain and the chain bar are also pre-installed on the item, so these are complete spares. Here we have a small oil dispenser, although there's no chain oil included. And I do believe, reading the manual, it takes 30 millilitres of oil. There's a crosshead screwdriver, and that's partly used for adjusting the chain tension as well. We'll look into that in more detail later. Onto PPE, which is supplied, some general workwear gloves. And finally, and very important, is the eye protection with some safety glasses. And so we come to the star of the show, the chainsaw. It's nice to see that there's actual chain guard on here as well. So just lift the cover up the top and that slides straight off. That springs back into place, and then we can fit the battery, which fits just like a normal power tool would. And it's also nice to see on the front there's a battery charge level indicator. You press the red button there and it lights up with 4 different stages. To operate it, you press a little button on the side, press that in and press the trigger, and that runs as well. Overall, it's quite fairly well balanced for a one-handed operation. It weighs 3.6 pounds, which is 1.6 kilograms. And the safety features, or the protection features on there, it's got an overcharge, overcurrent protection, and there's also a thermal cutoff as well. Looking around the front here, there's a little oil reservoir, and that's a priming bulb. This takes 30 millilitres, as I've said before. And to just check it on the front there, there's a little window there so you can check your oil level, and this is auto dispensing. Right, I'm going to demonstrate how to fit the chain bar and chain to the machine. As I say, this comes pre-installed, but there'll be occasions once the chain's wore you'll probably want to replace it. So first of all, the chain bar, the 8-inch saw refers to the length of the actual chain bar. And as it comes to the chain, it is most important. First of all, these are sharp edges, so do be careful. But it's important that you have the chain travelling in the correct direction. You can actually put it on reverse, so it's rubbing rather than cutting. But if you look carefully, at the top of the teeth there's a scoop out. Now on some big chainsaws you can actually buy a file which is the specified radius of this tooth, and you can file it to sharpen it. But I've had a quick look on the websites, and these chains are really cheap to buy. You can buy 2 for about £6, so probably sharpening isn't worth it. Anyway, let's crack on. So again, the chain, make sure it's in the correct orientation. The chain bar, fit the chain, there's a slot in top of the chain, and at the bottom of the chain, that will run in the slot. So it's just a matter of threading it into the bar carefully, and just by Running it like that, you'll be able to see it's in the slot and the guide. So with the chain on the chain bar in the correct orientation, now you come to fit it to the actual body. And you need 3 hands really, because there's a slot here which corresponds with the slot in the chain bar, and they need to mate together by sliding that forward and lifting it down. That you can see it's in position there. Then you need to pull the bar back outwards to apply some tension, and then we fit the side cover. Before I fit the cover, I just want to show you something. On the side here is a little adjuster which you do by turning this screw here, and that dowel there needs to fit into one of these holes, and in this case it's the bottom one. So when you put the cover on, make sure that that pin is engaged in there, because that will apply the final tension to the bar and the chain. It's just a matter now of turning the screw to apply the tension to the chain. As a bit of advice, put this little nut on the top there. Don't do it tight, just enough to retain the plate, but also allow a bit of movement backwards and forwards. And then you say just tighten the nut to the right, and that applies the tension. Check every so often and make sure there's movement in. Not enough for it to jump off, but you don't it tight like a bowstring either. So once you've checked the tension of the chain, final thing to do now is just to nip up this little wing nut on the side, and we're ready to get the battery in and start cutting. One other thing I forgot to mention, most importantly, is to put some lubricant in, some oil. So there is a dispenser what comes in the kit, but there's no oil. I've got some light machine oil here. This is what I use for actually my paper shredder. I keep the blades lubricated with that. So I just pop it in, and right at the front here you'll see a little indicator window. So I just pop that in there like that, keep that topped up. So it does say in the book something like 30mm to top it up. Screw the cap back on. There is a little priming bulb there, you can do that a couple of times. And what I'll do then is put the battery on and give it a couple of whizzes just to spin it round. Just out of interest, I forgot to mention about the chain details. It says it's a 1/4 pitch with 22 teeth, and it travels at 5 meters per second. Like all things machinery wise, safety does come first, so make sure you got some good eye protection on. You only get one pair of eyes, so look after them. And another thing what I like to do, especially with something like this, is to have the cutting action which goes away from you. So this piece of wood here, this stump is around about 80mm diameter. This will cut a lot thicker, but this is all I got for the moment, so let's see how we go. And that there is a lovely cut, nice and clean, because it's a sharp tool. Anything with a cutting blade, you must make sure the edge is keen and sharp, otherwise it becomes dangerous, because then you have to apply extra pressure. Let's have another go back in here. As you can see, that goes down, no problem at all. We'll just go across again. Lovely, it's a pleasure using this. To put things in a bit more perspective, that's the bottom of the trunk that I've just cut off, and that's probably about 125mm, 5 inches across. The manual actually says it will handle an 8-inch diameter piece of wood, which I'm no doubt it will. But if I was cutting that on a regular basis, I think I would prefer to use a petrol rather than continually put the motor of the battery chainsaw under such load. So overall, I must say I'm very impressed with that. Time will tell as I use it more and more and see how long the battery stands up and that, but first impressions, as I said, very good. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Seesii for reaching out and giving me the opportunity to test this. As I said, very impressed with it. If there is a viewer's discount, please look below and I'll put it in there for you if you want to take advantage of this. Finally, I'd like to emphasise, and I must say emphasise, please, please, please remember to remove the battery or power source, whatever power tool you're using, before your hands ever go near the cutting edge. That's about it from now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you soon.